Trying to get a few things squared away here. Got looking at the picks from last week. Could have done better. Could have done worse. Give people. We'll see if anybody wants to come in here. We'll give them a minute. I'd like to dedicate this drink to Mandy, my ex-work wife. If you go back on this channel and search and find some Mandy and me live streams, you'll know who I'm talking about. But I think she has a little bit of OCD because whenever I mix one flavor, like a green flavor, in a purple label, it drives her crazy. So I made sure to put this on Instagram. Well, what's the matter with me? I'm drinking a cold drink and I got some coffee here. Definitely a interesting weekend of football. We got some good games. Okay, let's start by looking at last week's. Let's go ahead and pull that up. And we're going to do that. What is up? Usually all I got to do is share it again. And now we're okay. So, of course, Cincinnati beat the Raiders. Had that one picked right. Got the Buffalo win over the Patriots picked right. Tampa Bay beat Philadelphia. That was not a difficult place to go. Got this one wrong. San Francisco knocking off Dallas. I thought Dallas had enough talent to at least get to the divisional round. But the 49ers got them. Those Chiefs, man. Tell you, don't sleep on the Chiefs. I know they don't. At times they don't look as dominant as they have in the past 2 years, but I mean that's pretty impressive to when they started the second quarter and fumbled the ball away and Pittsburgh took the lead, that's down 7-0 early in the second, and they still managed to come back and hang 42 on the Steelers. That's pretty good stuff. And I don't know what's wrong with Arizona. I thought this was the one where I thought we might see the upset. Probably shouldn't have picked them. The Rams have been playing a lot better football, and there was really not a lot of reason for me to jump on the Cardinals, but I did. Most points was Kansas City, Buffalo. And then fewest Philadelphia. Did I get that right? I did get that. No, Arizona. So I missed both of those. didn't have those scores anywhere close. So let's look at this week. Hopefully I'll do a little better. This might be a quick live stream. Okay. We've got Tennessee or Cincinnati at Tennessee. And I think I like Tennessee here. But I could see an upset here. Look, Tennessee better not sleep on the Bengals because the Bengals with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, if they jumped out and got a lead, I'm not so sure Tennessee is really built to come from behind. Even with King Henry back. Now, so Cincinnati would want to get a fairly substantial lead. But if they could, this is where we could see the upset. But I'm going with the Titans. I mean, they were the number one seed for a reason. They played more, better consistently, even without Henry. So I'm going to go with Tennessee here. Green Bay or San Francisco at Green Bay. Yeah, we got to go with the Green Bay Packers. In fact, this is where I'm going to put the most confidence points. I think, in my eyes, Green Bay's playing at a much higher level than they were playing last year at this time. It seems like Aaron Rodgers is just killing it ever since he injured his big toe. And, San Francisco won last week, but they didn't win by a lot. That was a very close game. They were fighting to get out of there before the Cowboys came back. Now, say what you will about the lousy clock management at the end. I heard Dak Prescott made some disparaging comments about the refs, trying to justify fans throwing things at the refs, which I think is disgusting. Look, Dak, you better learn some clock management. What are you doing running the ball that late in the game, no timeouts? And quit blaming the refs. The refs spot the ball. That's what they do. And you don't get to just throw the ball down and then snap it. They have to set the ball. And that's the way that is. And so deal with it. If anybody should have been thrown, well, no, I'm not going to say that because that's not cool. It just kind of irks me that nobody should be throwing anything, but so don't be saying it. Just the refs are just doing their job, and they don't get much thanks for it, and they do a pretty good job, everything considered, and they get a lot right. And the stuff that they don't get right just gets magnified because we have all this technology to dissect it. All right, so we got Los Angeles at Tampa Bay. Man, the Rams are playing awfully good. I think this is where I'm going with my upset. I think the Rams knock off the Buccaneers. I'm not going to put a lot on it. We'll go down here with the 4. That was Jake. If you managed to hear that, if the mic picked it up. What's the matter, Jake? Huh? Hey, there's Eric. Winebender in the house. Let's see if I can get my just talking about some of these games. Talking about how I think this Rams game might be the upset. Rams playing awfully well. I did. I hope you noticed or are noticing now. Put a lot of confidence points on your Packers. I think they're the closest thing we have a slam dunk this week. I hope I'm not jinxing them. Yeah, I was just talking about that game a little bit too. Yeah, they got to be pulling their hair out, but at the same time now, I'm not. I think they need to work on their clock management. I think blaming the refs because they have to spot the ball is kind of stupid. But why? I just don't get the whole running for trying to run and pick up yardage like that when you don't have any timeouts. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Got those fingers crossed. I think I really like the Packers. I really like the Packers this postseason. I really feel like they're playing at their highest, at a higher level than they were last year. Well, wasn't real surprised about that either. Eagles, the Eagles just really didn't belong in the playoffs. To be quite honest, they weren't that good, and they were exposed. They were exposed. Yeah, they were kind of the Washington football team of 2022. They didn't really deserve to be there. I know a guy at work that's a big Bengals fan, so I was happy for him. They got a playoff win, and I think they have a chance this Saturday. I just not enough to pick them, but my feeling is that if they can get off to a lead, if they hit something big to Jamar Chase early in the game and make Tennessee play from behind, they've got a shot. But I think if I were them, I would be trying to come up with some plays to try to do exactly that. Try to break something early and get that lead. And because I don't think coming from behind is playing to the Titans' strength. Yeah, I mean it's been a long. It's been a really long time for them, and it should be good for years to come. Yeah, I think Jamar Chase has proven to be the real deal. Joe Burrow, those guys, they're going to be a cornerstone for that franchise, and maybe they can build something off of that, even as good as they almost were under Marvin Lewis. I live in the Louisville. Well, Louisville, my old hometown of Danville, both cities are in the Bengal market, and around here, Bengals aren't even close to being a top team. as far as fans are concerned. I would say the Packers, Steelers, Cowboys, probably in that order. There are some Viking fans around here, I think. But Packers and Steelers rule this area, and it's really a Cincinnati, Indianapolis market here in Louisville. But yeah, neither one of those teams have near the fan base that the Steelers and Packers have here. Of course, well, let's see. So we got. Let's recap a little bit here. Tennessee. I'm picking them over Cincinnati. Like I said, I do think Cincinnati has a shot, especially if they get a lead early. But I'm not counting on that. I think Tennessee. They got the number 1 seed for a reason. Green Bay, I think, is the best team in the NFC. I think they're going to take care of San Francisco. I don't expect this game to be particularly close. I'm looking at the Rams as maybe being an upset favorite. They're starting to peak right now, right at the perfect time. Tampa Bay, I don't think is quite as good as they were last year. And this may be a little bit of a reach for an upset, but I think if there's a team that's ripe for an upset in this round, it's Tampa Bay. And then finally, we'll pick Kansas City. Buffalo put on such a good show against the Patriots. It feels weird to be picking against them, but as impressive as they were against the Patriots, I thought the Chiefs were that impressive against the Steelers. To be down, to fumble away the first possession of the second quarter and still not be on the board, and then hang on 42 on the Steelers. Yeah, Kansas City, man, they just play to the level of their competition, and that's not good news for Buffalo. And if Buffalo gets a lead on them, they better keep piling it on, because I'm telling you, the Chiefs are like kind of like the Undertaker. You better get that casket nailed shut, because he's coming. I still can't believe Indy blew it. I was looking forward to that running back showdown against Tennessee. Oh yeah, that would have been great. I couldn't believe it either. I just thought for sure there's no way the Jags would beat them. But seeing plays from that game, I was watching the red zone. I typically do on the around here, because Miami is rarely on in this market. So I usually watch red zone. It just looked like the Colts were lost. I mean, I just couldn't believe that a team that had played as well as they had just they couldn't find themselves at all. They couldn't even make a run at them. Let's finish putting some confidence points on here. What do we got left? We got the 12 and the 8. I'm going to put the 8 on Tennessee just because I think they could potentially get beat. And put the 12 on Kansas City. That seems kind of high, because I think this is going to be a highly competitive game. But you got to put the 12 somewhere. Got to put it somewhere. I could end up being wrong on that one. So that leaves some interesting Potential combinations, we're looking at maybe Tennessee, Kansas City championship game, maybe. Either way, Buffalo or Kansas City, if Tennessee does win, they'll have to go there. Only way they get a home game is if the Bengals win. Leads for interesting scenarios. Possible Green Bay, Tampa Bay rematch. If the Buccaneers can get by the Rams. Could look at the Rams going to Green Bay. Well, there ain't no telling what I've said. I've been kind of all over the place, kind of looking at possible combinations for the championship game. And with 8 teams left, I don't know why, but I really feel like we're going to get a repeat of Super Bowl I. Green Bay and Kansas City. Well, that would be. I could see that. Hang a loss on Tom Brady. I could see that. That would definitely go farther in creating some interesting arguments, Rodgers Brady arguments, than if they have to, than if the Rams take out Brady. Yes, they are. They are a scary team. At first, you don't. Sometimes it's hard to peg Kansas City. They have these moments, and they did it. They did it a couple of years ago when they won the Super Bowl. Get down, get way down, and then come out blazing. I mean, it just after they struggled in the first quarter and then fumbled and Watt picked up that fumble and ran it back. I was wondering, I thought, wow, I hope, is Kansas City really going to lay down and let the Steelers beat them? No, they come back and crush the Steelers. It's not like thinking about that 42 points. It's not that easy to get all that as quickly as they did, because they did that without the benefit of the first quarter. Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. There's some awfully good players. Those Kelsey boys are pretty good too. I was reading about their mom being at both games on Saturday, being in Tampa Bay for the Eagles, Bucks, and then flying to Kansas City for the Steelers Chiefs game. Let's look at some scores. This is going to be a high-scoring game. Well, let's put some points on this thing. There. Let's do 42. This is liable to have some points on it too. Let's do 31. 24. Kansas City will score the fewest points. That might be San Francisco. If the Steelers can patch the O-line and find a solid QB, there isn't much of a drop-off in Pittsburgh. Well, I was looking at they were running some I don't know, memes about last week, especially when you have two of the three black head coaches in the NFL getting fired. They were talking about Tomlin's record because he's the only black coach in the head coach in the NFL right now. And I didn't realize it, but he's never had a losing season. That's about as consistent. That's like, I want to be careful about the comparisons, but that's a Shula-like consistency. To not have any losing seasons. That's and he's been on the job for a minute. So, yeah, I mean, it just I can't even wrap my mind around what's going on there, and part of it is because nobody really knows. I'm reading all of the craziest stuff and trying to sort out who was for what is just mind-boggling. Right now they're saying that that part of the problem was a power struggle between Flores and Greer, that Flores was wanting to move on from Tua. He was the one, they're saying that he was the one pushing for Deshaun Watson. And that may be so. I'm absolutely sure he will. But, when you look at it, there's so much we lost when we let him go. We had our first two time that we won back-to-back, had winning records, just missing the playoffs in a long time. Even maybe more important than that, Flores was 4-6 against Belichick. And how do you replace that? 4-6 against Belichick. That's what you've got to do in this division. You've got to take care of the you got to take care of Emperor Palpatine there. You gotta be able to beat Belichick, and that's what he could do. And now he wasn't a perfect coach. I mean, part of the problem, I think, was that he had. The only weakness I could see was his inability to get good offensive coaching under him and have a good system. I am not sold on the RPO system in the NFL. I don't have a problem with Tua so much. I would rather see Tua in a system similar to the Saints, where what Sean Payton runs is more of a West Coast system with the more aggressive vertical passing attack. But I even heard one of the experts on TV the other day said that the RPOs are not going to work long in the NFL, and I totally agree. I don't think, especially the way we do it, because we don't seem to push the ball down the field that much. It's more of a short and intermediate passing attack with very little moving the ball downfield. And so the problem there is really kind of twofold. Flores, being a young coach, probably can't pull the kind of offensive coordinator he wants. On the flip side, you have to give a little bit of the blame to Greer, because Greer has been in Miami a lot longer than Flores. That offensive line has been a mess as long as I can remember. So when is Greer going to get that fixed? Greer did a decent job, assuming that he's making the picks. They did a good job last year with picking up Waddle, Phillips, and Holland. But the year before, you can argue that, Igbenogany has not shown to be worth a first-round pick. If we have to grade him now, he's a bust. Unless he develops over the next season, he's a bust. And then the jury's still out on Tua. When you consider that we took him before Herbert, then we missed on that one because Herbert's already ready. Now, hopefully Tua can still progress. I mean, quarterbacks progress at different speeds, so hopefully that'll come around. But I don't know. I love the way Flores coached defense, and I'm afraid that's going to go away. That makes me sad. Did I pick all the games for the week? Yeah, went kind of quick. Yeah, Tennessee. Pick Tennessee. I do think there's a potential for an upset here. If Cincinnati can grab a early lead. Green Bay over San Francisco. To me, that's probably the closest we got to a slam dunk. I'm picking the Rams in a upset here because I think the Rams are peaking at the right time. I think the Buccaneers are not quite what they were last year. And then I'm going to pick Kansas City here because I just think that I don't know, maybe that's wishful thinking on Kansas City, because these two I expect them to go to war. And I obviously like Kansas City better than I do Buffalo, division rival. So that may be part of it. But I do think Kansas City is the team to beat there. Playoffs go by quick. Yeah, they sure do, because you figure we only got 3 more games after this weekend. The 2 championship games and the Super Bowl, and it's over. And it'll be, notice the Super Bowl is the day before Valentine's Day this year because of the way that they've pushed back everything. There'll be some broken hearts on Valentine's Day. I'm right with you, except on the Bills Chiefs game. I hate the Bills. I hate the Bills. I think it's when you are when you're a division rival. Yeah, the Bills Mafia gets on my nerves sometimes. You know, I was watching some clown jump off of a bus through a folding table. You know, at least in wrestling, when they do it, there's usually somebody there to land on. But the funniest thing I've ever seen was I watched this Buffalo Bills fan pick up. I don't know if it was his girlfriend or not, but he picked up this girl. She wanted to be, I guess she wanted to be slammed through a table. And he picked her up and slammed her on that table, and the table did not give. She hit with a thud. I kind of felt bad for her, but it was funny at the same time. It was like, oh, how do you come back from that one? But that's Bill's Mafia for you. I'm sure there's probably some Dolphin fans that do some pretty stupid stuff too, but yeah, other than that, yeah, I'd love to see the Rams hand one to like a failed ECW stunt. Yeah, but even they usually have enough brains to have someone down there to land on rather than. I mean, I watch this guy just. Well, I guess sometimes they do move out of the way, and some of those ECW guys were just absolutely crazy, and I never really got that. That I love wrestling. I love watching some pro wrestling, but I never really got the hardcore stuff. I wasn't really into that. I liked a good story. But so when you see some of the hardcore stuff, I still cringe every time I watch the highlights of that Hell in the Cell between Mick Foley and Undertaker. That was probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. The sickest bumps I've ever seen a wrestler take were the ones that Mick Foley took that night. Of course, I guess he I was about to say he's used to it. He's always wrestled that style, but I saw him. They did a special where they had him go into a warehouse where they had they got a lot of the old WWE memorabilia, and they showed Mick the cage. They've got the cage in that warehouse, and he welled up a little bit, and I think that that particular night probably took a lot more off his body than probably a lot of the matches he did. But yeah, the thing about Mick Foley too is that he wasn't just the toughest guy that I ever saw, because I mean, to get thrown off of the top of that cage down through the Spanish announcer's table, got one tooth up in his nostril, and to get up and to climb back up on that cage, man, that's tough. That's super tough. See, a lot of these football players talk about, especially defensive players, talk about how tough they are. But you're delivering a hit. I don't know how tough you have to be to deliver a hit like that. Tough is absorbing that hit, and Foley he absorbed punishment like I've never seen. Then go back up on top of that cage and then get slammed through the top of it onto the thumbtacks on the mat below. Holy cow. But I forget how we got on all of this, but yeah, Mick Foley but he was also so smart. He wasn't just a guy that was like a human crash test dummy. I mean, the guy was smart. He, come up with some of the things that he did, especially comedically, with the Mr. Sacco and the Rock and Sock connection and all that stuff that came out of his brain. I mean, and to be a New York best-selling writer. You see that hit in the Rams game, brutal. I believe so. I believe we're talking about, it was a Rams defensive back, wasn't it? All of a sudden, I'm blanking on the name of the player that got hit. It was a Rams defensive back, I believe. That's what happens when you get old. Can't remember. Oh yeah, Buddha. Oh no, we're Buddha Baker. That was Cardinals Buddha Baker. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, that was a hit and a half. But I hear he's okay, which is a good thing. I wonder how many Bengals are worried about eating it this weekend with King Henry back. I heard that, yeah, like I said, I got a buddy that at work that's a big Bengals fan. He said they were down a couple defenders too. Derrick Henry cleared for contact practice today. Decision on game status coming later this week. That was on the 18th, which was today. Titans ramp up work. This is 2 hours ago. The story was posted that Titans ramp up work for Derrick Henry. Let's see here. Yeah, that's that. That looks like the latest thing posted is 2 hours ago. They said they were ramping up the workload. If I were a Bengals defender, I'd be doing some extra film study, trying to figure out the best way to stay out of his way. Because I just wouldn't want to see him in the game if I were them. I was watching some video that they oh, okay. Well, it was good talking to you. And yeah, I'll be here next week. Not sure what I'm going to do before the Super Bowl, but I'll definitely be here next week at 9, and then hopefully by then I'll have a plan as to what kind of, like to do something special for the Super Bowl. I mean, it's only one game. If I do a live stream to pick that game, it'll take like 5 seconds. So, all right. So we'll see you then. I think I'm going to wrap this up. So until 9 o'clock next week, peace.